My name is Stefano Farkas. I was born in Italy, and right now I live in Sweden, Stockholm. I'm a psychologist, a clinical hypnotherapist, and a stress management consultant. I have worked as a psychotherapist and coach in England, Italy, Israel, and in Sweden. I'm the founder of IM, which is the Institute of Associated Medicine. It's an educational body which aims, through training and coaching, to enhance the individual health and performance, both in the workplace and in everyday life. Performance and health are important issues. Our goal is to increase your performance and decrease the risk of accidents and burnout. Our target at IM is to help you build effective stress management and performance strategies that will help you to reach your goals in life while keeping you healthy. I have over 13 years experience of empowering people. I worked with high achievers in business, performing arts, politics and sports, as well as with survivors of everyday life. And I am myself a survivor. In the last 13 years, I had the chance to experience many things which has taught me more than many books I've read. The death of my father of cancer. Before dying, he suffered intolerable pain that couldn't be relieved by morphine, Demerol, or anything else. With him, I started to train hypnotic technique to relieve pain. Then I went through a difficult divorce, which made me experience how one feels when he's forced to live in a country which is not his own, where he doesn't speak the language, no family, no friends, no support, no work, no money, and single father. Finally, after some time and a lot of effort, I managed to start up a small consultancy company working with psychotherapy and stress management, and I met a new girlfriend. A few years later, the 11th September attack in New York led to a new economic crisis, just after the so-called IT bubble crisis. In Sweden, big companies start to cut costs, starting eliminating the small consultancy company. And as one of the human resource manager, a woman once told me straight in the face, Dr. Farkas, you understand, in economic difficulties, we prefer to give the job to companies run by Swedish people. At that time of difficulties, came difficulties also in my relationship. And my girlfriend then left me for somebody else, and that hurt. I didn't give up, and I fought like a crazy to get back on my feet. But I was alone and in pain, problems with work, economic problems, emotional pain, since I was still in love with my ex. In order to reduce the emotional pain I was experiencing, I started to overdo things. Too much physical training, too many adrenaline kicks, too much work, busy all the time. There was a miscalculation for someone like me. I knew I was running on the thin ice, and to escape the emotional pain, I kept on running, just looking at the end of the tunnel, and thinking, the light is there, I can make it. I need just more time to heal this, and soon I will be able to stop and rest. Optimism is a trap. For those who read my blog, I wrote a post on that. Optimism is a modern trap and makes lots of victims. We overwork, overperform. We don't invest enough time and money on ourselves, on our health. We only have one body, just one mind as well. And most of us run their life as if they are racing Formula 1. Could you imagine being the owner of a nice Ferrari, running on the Formula 1 circuit without a support team, without changing oil or tires, and all other technical things that need to be changed? Don't you think it would be foolish to race there without all the needed support? How would you define the state of mind of those who would race there without technical support, knowing that the car they're racing in is the only car they will ever have? And that's us, people. Only one life. So going back to me, I was running on the thin ice, hoping to reach the light at the end of the tunnel. But the light was a train just coming against me. 1 year later, the traumatic separation with the girlfriend, exactly in the same month, and that was accidentally the same month my father died, and ironically enough, that is the month of my birthday, my ex took her life. That was the train hitting me. It was March 2004. I experienced trauma, post-traumatic stress disorders. It was so bad that in a moment of lucidity, I managed to take myself to the doctor. And I explained to the doctor what I was going through and suggested her what she had to do. Sometimes some doctors need a bit of help in doing their job. And I've always been a knowledgeable and helpful patient. I decided not to take medication, but asked a psychotherapist to help me. I worked in tandem with her, so it was enough meeting her maybe 8 times. I was back on my feet. I went on holidays to take a rest for a month. It was summer of 2004. Then I got sick for a couple of days during the holidays, like if I had a cold. After 1 week, again, I thought it was the contrast between very warm outside, I was in Israel then, and quite cold inside because of the air conditioning. Back to Sweden, this cold or infection in my body came back. Now I was feeling weak for several days, sweaty at night. Went to the doctor, got a physical examination, blood test, and they found nothing. So I was sent home with paracetamol. I was very well trained at that time and I could feel my body quite well. I knew I had some kind of infection in the body, and the paracetamol was the equivalent to say, we don't have a clue of what you have, so take this, it will probably go away anyhow. I started to analyze my symptoms and search what it could be. I went back to the doctor for more tests, came back home with the same paracetamol. I changed doctor, same paracetamol. In Sweden, paracetamol cures everything. I went back again after a few days, and I said, I know this must be Borrelia or Lyme disease. Since the symptoms are similar, I think I found a tick on my body a few months earlier. It was not tick. But I knew that they had to send me to the hospital for the Borrelia test. More doctors checking me, maybe more chances to find what I had. At the hospital, they found I had cancer. It was very aggressive and very much spread, so they told me I had no chances at first. It had gone too far. And the paracetamol didn't help at all. I had a malignant lymphoma, not specified. The cancer was spread in the blood and bone marrow. I had a solid tumor, 13 by 10 centimeters in my stomach, and one as big as an orange in my chest. I had thrombosis in both my legs, so they were both paralyzed. They told me that they were planning to try a very aggressive chemotherapy treatment, and that they were fearing for my kidneys, and they suggested me to leave semen at the semen bank, since very likely I would have become sterile because of the treatment, if I was going to survive the cancer. How would you like to imagine, imagine how fun it could be and exciting to leave your semen at the lab when you are half paralyzed, maybe dying, and possibly facing severe damages if you survive. Not to mention that I was also under a strong painkiller, so not much of an excitement. I left it 3 times though, went back each day to leave 1 time a day, since that was the maximum permitted. Since the moment I decided to survive, which was a decision I took, and it was not the obvious decision at that time, I did everything I needed to survive and change the odds. I used the knowledge that I had, and I acquired some new knowledge, and I changed things. I was hospitalized for 7 months. I went through chemotherapy and the transplantation of the staminal cells. It took me 6 months after going out from the hospital to get back on my feet. After 1 year, I started to realize the damages done by the last treatment I got. I was informed only of some of the side effects, possible sterility, but I was never informed that I would have never produced testosterone again, or that I would have suffered from brain damages and severe cognitive impairment. It took 1 year more to hear from all the specialists that those damages were going to be permanent. But I changed all that. I fixed all the so-called permanent damages, making them less permanent. And I kept all the medical records just to prove that what we think is true today is not necessarily true, and definitely it might not be true at all tomorrow. That is a short summary of my background. What is Therapy Online? Is to give you the possibility to find all the help you need during your life course, going back to the Formula One race comparison, is the support team, anywhere, anytime you need it. As long as you're connected to the internet, or you have a telephone, or a mobile, or any form of communication, myself or someone else in my team will be on the other side to support you, to advise you, to treat you, to coach you, to give you a second opinion when you need one, to care about you. What is the difference with traditional therapy? I'm just answering the questions I was given. What is the difference with traditional therapy? Well, we are not traditional at all. We don't have geographical limits, we don't have the time limits, and we don't have the label limits. Beside the fact, the idea of IM is having specialists in different sectors, but also to cross-work. And when it comes to psychotherapy, for example, I started something called KHC. K from cognitive in Swedish, cognitive hypnos coaching, or in English it would be cognitive hypno coaching, where I use what it works without being bound to one therapeutic approach. In general, the fields of psychiatry and psychology do not allow so much freedom of action on the therapist's part. Meaning a lot of problems, not all of them of course, but a lot of them, labeled as psychological problems, are the results of people making wrong choices. And those people would benefit from being instructed to make different ones. That is the reason I combine coaching to psychotherapy. And I use often hypnosis because one can make changes under hypnosis which would take longer time to make them without. You want to know why I do this? Because I love it. What I experienced was a gift, an incredible one. Pretty painful though. So I wouldn't like to re-experience it again. When I meet someone who suffers, I can look in their eyes and feel what they feel because I've been there. And I know the way out. So I can take them by hands and lead them out of there. Or being by their side, helping them, making the pain more bearable, if there is no way out. When I see an optimistic performer who doesn't care about anything else and race like a racing car at maximum speed, feeling that the sky is the limit, I can also look in the eyes of that person and share that as well, because I've been there. And by coaching, I can take away some of the obstacles that might be on the way and show the importance of stopping once in a while to check that precious racing car, increasing the performance and keeping the performer healthy. I've coached performers in investment banking, bank security, in companies like the Amsterdam Trade Bank, and from there I got contacts in the Alpha Bank. I've also worked with Swedish Handelsbanken, Saab, Ericsson, and the Japanese Kanebo, providing online coaching and stress management. How does it work? Well, it's very simple. Through the website www.stefanofarkas.com, you press the contact button on the top horizontal menu, and you ask to be contacted. Or you press the button on the left menu, which says book a free session. You fill it and press send. You will be contacted to book a time for a free session so that you can test and experience how online coaching for therapy works. We will use Skype, as we're doing right now, maybe in a more intimate environment without so much public. But that is the way it looks. For example, when I coach a group at distance or do a training course. Once decided to go on with coaching or therapy, you're offered different options accordingly to your needs and the goals you want to achieve. There are those who need to book an appointment a week and those who need to be able to have more frequent access to coaching and support. My dream in the next future is to build a wide platform of support, a network of multi-specialists under the umbrella organization of IM, which anyone who needs help can reach easily, just by calling a number.
Thank you very much, Stefano Farkas. I think a big hand from DreamAcademia.